everybody, Nancy here. Today I'm going to talk about a few questions that came up from my last couple of videos. I didn't finish the story, but I didn't finish the story on purpose because there's another whole video that comes next that will tell you how to next. Now you've got the cover and you've got the insides of your document. Now what? Well, I stopped before I got to that because that's another whole video. And that is coming. I'm just kind of waiting maybe on the next update to see what goes with that one. But I always wait for the next update. And as a result, I don't get some videos made. But, all right. One of the questions that was asked, or multiples of this question, was, okay, how do I save that book cover that I created, and do I need to save it as a symbol, or do I need to save it as an image? How do I save it? And my answer is, it depends on what you plan to do. Personally, I like to save anything that I've created that has a lot of steps to it, because I might want to do it again, and if I do, I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel and have all the parts. Example is, if you look at my thing here, this pen, these 6 images here, now they're not images necessarily, but you know what I'm talking about. That's saved as a single group. I didn't group anything as, I didn't say save as group. I didn't do that, but it is, I saved all of that I needed to create another pen in the same symbol, not stacked up. And I did not stack them up on purpose because I want, first of all, if I look at the symbols, and yes, I would save anything that I think I might do something with later. I always save that as a symbol, especially if it's got a lot of steps. But let me show you how I saved the book and the reasons why I did it a certain way. See, this is the pieces to recreate a book. And all I have to do is stamp on a page, and I'm ready to roll to just move things around and use the pieces to recreate a different kind of document. No point in reinventing the wheel. But I also saved the finished image as a symbol because I might want to do something with that. And the only thing, if I wanted to change the hue, which is what I did for this top one, see, the original one was the mauve, but I took that mauve image into the edit window and changed the hue and got a tan, which is really what I really wanted, a tan book as opposed to a mauve book. And so now I went ahead and saved both of them. And that way I know I have it. It's set aside. It's in my symbols. And, I can take one of these and do the same thing again. Go ahead and, there's things that you can't do with a shape that you can do with an image and vice versa. So that's my answer. I save both ways in the symbols if I ever plan to do anything with something I create. Now, a whole lot of stuff I don't do that with, and I have to end up searching for it. I know I did this somewhere, but what book was it in? And, I've already done all this. Why didn't I save it as a symbol so I could use that again? But let me show you an example of why I might use the pieces down at the bottom. See now, the spiral bound book here, all that is the same exact cover. Oops. I always forget I have symbols turned on. All right. I save the pieces. This mauve, this thing right here is the cover from the original. And I decided, well, I want to do something different with it. Right now, this shape has a color fill to it. But what if I want to put an image to fill it? All I have to do is find an image. Like, see, I found this one right here, and I created this spiral book. I found this one, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use it. First of all, I have to select the image like this and copy it. It doesn't matter how big it is, just select it and copy it. So I'm going up to the top, my saved favorites, and I did a copy. So now that yellow thing is on my pasteboard. And now I select the actual shape, and I select the shape here at the bottom, the shape tool, and that puts the little diamonds around it. I know I'm working on that shape. I can see that the fill is that mauve color. Well, if I go to image, click on image, and I do from pasteboard, and see how it like, well, that's not right, you know, but that's the way Zoom Notes handles shapes and images. It goes to the widest part, and because it was a square, it didn't do the length of it, the up and down of it. And maybe that's something you like, but that wasn't the goal I had in mind. So in order to make it stretch, now I'll tell you this, if I had started with a rectangle oblong picture and done the same thing, it would have worked better, all right? But I didn't. I started with a square, and most images, if you buy them on Etsy, that's the way they come. You know, I believe it's a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and if you printed it, it probably is. But to make it work, all you have to do is click on tiled, and bam, it stretches to the size of the book. Isn't that cool? Now, it's because it's on horizontal in the middle. If I change that to vertical, it may not necessarily, see, it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. What happened was, I don't know if you can see it, but you might can see it better on this one. Let me do that. Let me copy this one. It's a pattern instead of, let me not say that. I'm going to select that. I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to go here. Go to the shape menu. And go to image. And if I turn that on to vertical, it'll be easier to see on this one, I think. See what it does? It starts to tile it in the original square under vertical. But if I change it to horizontal, it stretches it to fit into that square. Now, honestly, I don't know, how big it will go and if it will work on every single rectangle that you ever do. I'm not sure of that, but I know that it's working on mine. So that's what's happened to my yellow one. I had it set on vertical. I need to select it and go back to the image and turn it to horizontal. And now it's spread out better. And then all you have to do is add a spiral to it. And this is one that I had already. And you've got 2 more books that you didn't, very little of anything you had to do with it, okay? Isn't that cool? So that's why I would save the pieces as opposed to the picture image, because you can do more with that. Now, another thing that came up that somebody else mentioned, the problem I had when I exploded my shape in order to get rid of the dashes. Let me show you. Let me go ahead and create another one. If I draw this out, I'm drawing a shape, and I'm not real sure. Let me see. Let me go to the shape menu and see what it's shape menu. I don't have anything under fill, so I'm going to turn fill on, and I'm going to do the dashed border. And the only reason I turn fill on is not that I need it, but that way you can see where it is. You weren't able to see it before. I'm going to add a border that's brown, and I'm going to make it dashed. And that's what we're pretending that's stitches. Now I can go ahead and delete the fill because I really don't want it. So now we've got that shape. Rather than explode it to make it handwriting so I can erase it, all I needed to do was crop it. It's like, well, why the heck? Why did I go to that much trouble? It was so hard. But in order to crop it, I have to make it an image. So I have to select it and do my select toolbar up at the top, do copy, and then paste as image. Then take that into edit mode and just drag that little side over slightly. You know, so much easier. Done. So now my left edge is gone. So that's how you could do the stitches that way. Better. Big dummy. All right. Now, drop shadows. She mentioned something about she wasn't sure about drop shadows, and I wanted to show you there's actually three ways to create a drop shadow, and all three ways give you different results. So I wanted to show you these three girls and show you what's different about them. First of all, the first one is this one right here, is the find the boundaries, and it creates a shape, which I personally just like better. I don't know why. For me, it leaps off the page better, and it looks more like a shadow for some reason. Now, this particular one, you know, maybe not so much, but I just like it better for some reason. All right. Then this one in the middle, I'm going to see. Okay, that one. Let me. This particular one under operations, if I click on, let's see, make shadow image, it's like fifth from the bottom or somewhere like that. Make shadow image. It literally makes an image of a shadow that is separate from the picture. All right. And the kind of cool thing about that is you can move it so that if you don't like it on the left side, you can move it slightly to the right of the person, and now the light's coming from a different direction. So that doesn't help. I'm getting rid of some of the stuff. But see how it's changed sides because I moved it. However, the next one, this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and use her again because I know what's going to happen. So I'm going to move her down here, and then I'm going to back to the menu. This one is underneath image. See, there's another one that says add drop shadow. Well, when I click on that, it adds a drop shadow, but I don't know how to detach it. They're together. They're all one piece. And, well, here's a good example of why I like the other one. You see how a drop shadow looks when you create it using either one of these two. If you put it on a dark surface, it's got that more of a white halo look. But if I move this one over here, see, it stays gray. It doesn't have that white halo. That's why I use it, and that's why I use, I just do all my drop shadows that way now. I can't tell you the last time I used that. All right, it was I guess the last time I actually used it was when he came up with this one. But I can't move, if I do want to move it on the other side of her, I can't do that with the one that I created using the shape. All right, now I'm having a hard time. I've got the snap on, so I need to turn that off in order to make it easier to move around. So now, see, it just changes where the light's coming from. And if it's on a light background, then it really doesn't matter because you can't see that white halo around it. You see what I'm talking about? You can't see that there. So that's the difference in the 3 different ways of creating a drop shadow and why you would and wouldn't use any of the above. Okay? Anyway, that's all I'm going to answer here. I will go ahead and create another video soon of how to create a journal, which I've done already. Let me show you my journal. Let's see. No, that's probably this one. Yeah, it took me a couple of times to figure out exactly how I wanted it, but so this was my inside and outside. If I go to page 1, see, this is my outside. And I need to turn the turning off for that, but it's got my desktop, it's got my book, and it's got a picture. And you can put whatever you want to on the desktop for your first cover page, all right? Then I go to the next one, and you see I have my picture underneath my book this time because it's open. And I created the month and year to be on the left side of the page. That way I can write and do whatever I want to over on the on the right side. If I go to a weekly, this is what my week looks like now. Love Zoom notes. We can do this. We can make it go horizontal or vertical, whatever we want to do. And I chose to do horizontal on my weeklies. And if let me go to April so you can see how it lines itself up. April, it's got the dots showing my different reminders, and if I click on, let's say, the 410, this is what the week looks like. Now, hindsight, I probably should have gone ahead and created the shapes so that they had an actual border around them. That would have been better probably, because this looks kind of lost. But the whole purpose of doing things like this is that I can reshape it if I want to after the fact. If I select one of these, go to Planner, I think Planner, unlock it, make it the current. See, I can select the shape that I used to create that and reshape it like that, and I can change it to be, instead of being columns, I can go to the Z and change it to, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is why I shouldn't have started this, but I'm going to go ahead and show you this since I started. I turn off the columns and just do the list. See? So it's a beautiful thing. Zoom Notes is a beautiful thing. Normally I have the weeks in columns as opposed to horizontal like this, but I wanted to test it to see how I could make that work. But see, I can take each one of these things now and move them and shape them and do whatever I want to with them. You know, I just have to remember to bring the name of the day with them when I reshape them. But anyway, like I said, that's another day. And hopefully I answered the questions that was asked. Okay? Anyway, y'all have a great day here. Bye.